Hey everybody, BarrenDome here. So I want to preface this whole video by saying the reason the title says sober discussion is in case most of you don't know, last Saturday night I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a live streaming, have a couple drinks, and I had labeled it the drunken rant. Unfortunately, it turned into a 4-hour me getting wasted and going completely off subject on a bunch of other different things. So I thought I would bring it back, look over everything again. This time this is the sober discussion, and I want to hit on a lot of points about the whole vet queue removal thing. So that's what we're going to kind of get to. So let's get started. So in case most of you don't know, there was a big development last week from Housemaster Curtis, the Two Builders, Two Tools on 2B2T, that they were going to remove the vet queue. And let me bring up the Reddit post right now. So this is the actual post from the other day, and it's from Two Builders, Two Tools, and it says, in the next weeks, 2B2T will be getting some changes and final remaining plugins finished, listed below. And then there'll be, there's also finally going to be a website. I'll get to that in a minute. But let's get to the queue changes, which is right here. It says the veteran old player first or pre-1st June privilege queue that had been given to all players that joined even just once before June 1st, 2016 will be removed. There will be just a regular queue and a donation option bypassing the queue. Players will no longer have their position pushed around, meaning, for example, if you're in position 3, you will not go back to position 4. And that was a big thing because if you were a free player at the time, you'd log in, you'd be position 10, and then you'd go to 11, to 15, to 10, and it would just bounce around because people with paid queue would jump ahead of you. People with vet queue would jump ahead of you. So you'd see these numbers just fluctuate everywhere, and you couldn't really tell how long it took for you to get in or out. It was kind of frustrating. Next part says the server will be considered slightly higher amount of average of players, 75 to 80 to 90. That does not mean that there's only 80 slots. I think that the server could run higher than 80, but that's me. The queue will start just as it does currently once the server has 80 players or more. I think you could have a lot more than 80 players online at a time. That's just the number that he went with. The appearance of the queue will be an empty end dimension instead of what it should be and less laggy. Hopefully that means that he's hosting it on a different location and not on the Archon. And we're going to get to more of that in a second. There's some other minor appearances changes, and a sound will play once position 3 and below is reached. Okay, I think you should go to maybe 10 because 3 is kind of out there. Let me just scroll down here some other stuff that kind of want to care about. I don't care about the mob optimization. Don't care about that. Party group chats. I think that's kind of a waste of time to have a party group chat in Minecraft. Most players use Discord at this point, so I don't see the point of it. I think that's a waste of time and effort. And then he goes into the Elytra cheats, the lag machines. The lag machines is another thing I'm going to discuss in a bit. I'm going to read it right here, but we'll get back to it later. While this might be against some of the consider the no rules, no admins, no anarchy, and I too want to avoid doing it, lag machines that freeze the server to the point where it can be compared to a DOS or some other in-game exploit that eventually will get patched, have been and currently just deleted between server restarts until there's a better way to prevent or optimize these as they developed. All right, so we'll get to that in a minute. So that is the big thing right there. Okay. So that's main points were the vet queues get removed, server staying at the 80 slots. There's going to be a different queue appearance, which is hopefully not on the Archon no more, and then there's some other minor appearance changes. So to give you history about this whole queue thing, the queue came out, of course, of Rusher. When he showed up in June 2016, there was no queue. It was, at most, I've seen a lot of pictures and I've seen online where there was only 40 players at max online. There was no queue. I don't remember what the server max at the time was, but I know that pre-queue thing, it was just a page that said, hey, you're at this position. Click this button again to stay in your current position, and you had to keep doing that. It was just keep clicking a button, I believe, to stay in your current position. And that's all the page was. But the problem was when Russia came, you've got 1,500 people waiting and clicking on that button, and the server could not deal with that at the time. So Housemaster and Curtis and the Camping Rusher came together, say, hey, I'll make you a special queue system. You're going to need better server hardware to deal with the influx of new players. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a paid queue. Since there's no transparency with the server admin or the users, we can only really go off what I've heard other people say. But, I'm pretty sure that Camping Rusher gets a cut of that priority queue money because, he's hosting that queue on the Archon. So, there was the paid queue, the $20 to get into play, which probably at the time was an astronomical amount of money that they were starting to make based off the, hundreds of thousands of players that were trying to join. There's the vet queue, which kept the old player base, because this was their home, you can't just kick them out, kept them coming back for free, like, hey, we know that you play here, this is your server, we're not going to lump you in with the free people, but we're not going to lump you in with the paid people yet, but you can still get in ahead of the free. And that was kind of their deal for the old players, to keep them coming back. If you guys go back, I'm going to put a link in the video description. There's a really good video by Taragadude that fully explains how the queue system worked. I'd suggest go check that out, and it give you more insight on the pay and who gets jumped and things like that. And now, October 2017, House is going to remove the vet queue, so you only have free and pay $20. There's no need anymore because, I tried to hop on this morning, and I'm guessing that the current player count is around 200, only because I think people are throwing bots in there like crazy. I've seen the queue jump 30, 40 players at once, because I'll be going, you're at 70, 69, 68, and then boom, you're at 30. So that's telling me people are loading up these fucking bots to take up queue status and the queue space to mess with people. It's kind of their protest, if you will, that they're doing against the queue. Okay, eventually that's going to stop. It happens. It's how people react. I'm going to throw a ton of bots in there, mess with everybody, get everybody agitated, but it's going to die down eventually. I know it will. Kind of another point I want to hit on, I did some research through, if you've ever looked through the old web archive of 2b2t.org, what you're looking at right now is the old web page, and this was from November 8th of 2015, kind of the last web page update that they had. This is what the web page looked like. If you look down at the bottom left, let me make sure you can actually see it. Yep, you can. Right down here by the donate button, this shows you the server costs. It was $90 per month back in the day. So November 2015, $90. And I'm assuming that it was probably $90 up until June of 2016. And at that point, to where we are now, I don't know how much it jumped during the process, but if you listen to Taragadude's last video where he did the podcast with Fit, Fit actually discussed that the cost of the server per month now is $1,500. That's what? How do you jump $90? $90 seems like this still seems kind of expensive to me for a server hosting. But I gotta wonder what you're paying $1,500 per month. And I want to show you guys this because, I kind of look things up. So this is bisecthosting.com. It's Minecraft hosting. And I'm going to go to their top tier cost for Minecraft hosting. And look at this right here. 8 terabytes of RAM, 160 players, unlimited slots. So you can have 160 concurrent players with unlimited in a queue system. Unlimited SSD, but of course that's fair policy. I'm sure it's a lot less for $64 per month. $64 per month. Even if House went to this company and said, "Hey, listen, I got a bunch of special people here. So I like the 160 players concurrent. That's awesome. I'm probably going to need a lot more storage space for my map. So let's work out a deal. I'll pay you quadruple $64 per month. So 240, 250 per month. Even if he's paying quadruple the cost of this to host his server, there's still so much less than $1,500 per month. So I gotta wonder, the costs are going someplace else, because you've got to be out of your goddamn mind to pay $1,500 per month. I'm not even paying $1,500 per month on the mortgage of my house. You probably could get a Porsche 911 and not pay that much per month for the car payment. So the cost got to be going someplace else, because I'm thinking that House is probably paying Curtis some money to do this job, because I don't think Curtis is doing this out of the kindness of his heart. House is probably contractually obligated to pay him, a server administrator fee per month. You got to also wonder if he's paying Rusher per month for hosting on the queue. So I got to wonder if something else is being paid for. So there's no way that $1,500 per month is just for the server cost. He's probably paying Curtis some money to do the server. He's probably paying Rusher some money. It cannot be all that much for the server. It just cannot be. And so I would like to know really where that money is going to. It's kind of ridiculous. So I kind of want to, let's talk about something else. So this is my suggested changes for House and some other things. Dude, you gotta go with a different Minecraft hosting if you're paying $1,500 per month just for the cost. That's stupid. There's no way you should be paying that much. I don't know if you're renting the hardware physically and you've got it at your house, or what you're paying for, but you really got to find a different hoster if that's it, or you really got to look over your overall costs and where everything is going to, where you're paying Curtis for server administrative privileges, you're paying people to write your plugins, website hosting, because you said in the Reddit post that you're going to revamp the website. Why? You have Reddit. We already go to Reddit. All you have to do is make a weekly post on Reddit of the server status, what the map size is, what you're thinking about doing for keeping the server running, how much costs are there, what are we paying for? You may want to think about having volunteer server mods. And I'm not talking in-game mods. I'm not talking about these guys that are in-game, game mode 1, game mode 3, flying around, looking at what everybody's doing. No, these guys are server admins that play on on your map. And when they notice that someone's lagging the server, they can go into the server logs and say, okay, this chunk is doing something. Send an email to House. House, this guy is doing something. Permission to shut the server down, wipe out his lag machine. And House can log in, verify, have another person with, that you trust, verify what's going on. So there's no collusion here. You've got people with checks and balances to verify that you don't have to pay, that can help you out with the server. Even with the bisec hosting, there was only 160 active players at one time. If there's still 200, yes, you're probably going to need a queue, but maybe you should have a tiered queue service. $20 per month, I really don't think it should be 20. If you reduced your overall costs, you do not need to have a $20 per month option. I could see a $10. $10 is more than reasonable. You jump to the front of the line. $5, you're the top 25%, a $5 one, and then the free. You can have this tiered approach. It doesn't need to be 20. It doesn't need to be free. You're limiting us on what we can do to help you out. And this goes to that House needs to give us more transparency. You got to remember, dude, we are players on your server. If the players don't play, there's no need for your server to exist. So you really need to be more transparent with us with what's going on with the server. Quite frankly, you need to let us know where that $1,500 per month is going, because that's stupid that we're paying that much per month to keep this server alive. That's fucking stupid. That money is going someplace else and you know it, but you're not telling us. So you need to tell us where that money's going to, whether it's going to Rusher, it's going to Curtis, you're paying external developers, you're paying to host websites, you're paying for the URL yearly. Obviously, you have to pay a yearly URL cost. Let us know that. we are players on your server. People actually enjoy playing on here. It's people that do enjoy playing. There is a sense of community. I know it's anarchy, but there is still a community there. You want us to help you? Tell us where we can help you, or ask us for help. Hey, I need help doing this. What do you guys suggest? I think that you need to give us that. And if you're going to reduce the costs and you're going to make it more transparent for us, let us know. Put it in the tab screen. How much is owed this month? How much has been paid? It's not that difficult. Put it on the website, on Reddit. It's not a weekly post. It's not that hard, dude. How much is needed? And finally, at the end, this goes to the players, and this is most important. Even though this is an anarchy server, as players on this server, you still have responsibilities. Like the pre-June 16 vets, they used to keep the server alive. The cost was $90 per month. Last Saturday, I talked to Oxymoron, where he paid $100 to $200 to keep the server alive. I know that Offtopia has paid too, and he's paid hundreds of dollars to keep the server alive. But here's the thing, whether you're an old player or new player, it is your responsibility to make a donation to any Minecraft player that you play on to keep it up and alive if you enjoy playing on it. It's like if you were walking in a city and there's some guy on the street and he's doing playing the drums, whatever. If you stop for a second and are entertained by him, you should pay him $1. It's the same thing. You play on the server, it's your responsibility to make a donation to keep the server alive. Now, the only problem is the only donation we have right now is $20 per month. I definitely think House needs to open up where we can make, an any amount donation, $1, $5, $10. The 20 is stupid. People do want to donate, but they don't want to give $20, or they can't give $20. As players, we need to donate. Kind of a side question here, and this goes out to all the people with VetQ status. I know that some of you paid pre-June 16, but I want to know how many of you with the VetQ made a $20 donation during the last year and a half? Or did you just ride that free VetQ status the entire time? I want to know that. And seriously, in the comments, I want to know, people with a VetQ, how many of you actually said, you know what, I know I got the VetQ, I still want to pay to keep my server alive. And I'm going to guess here, very few of you did. Very few. I'm sure maybe Fit or Toro did, because they're making money off of playing on Tubi, but a lot of people may not have. They've just rode that VetQ status the entire time. And it's unfortunate that the only option that you have to pay is $20. I can tell you right now that for the last year, I've been paying $20 per month to play, because I want to play, I want to get on. Money is not an issue to me. So for the last year, I've paid at least $20 per month. So I've paid at least $240 towards 2B2T to play, and also to keep the server alive. But I know there's lots of players out there that want to play, but they can't afford it. And they also they hate sitting through the queue for hours. And then I remember a couple months ago where you would sit through the queue for hours, you'd connect, and then 30 seconds later you were disconnected. So I think House really needs to fix on that auto reconnect option, where if you get disconnected, you get automatically reconnected in a short amount of time. That's something that really needs to be fixed. So overall, I think if House and Curtis would make a serious restructure to the cost of their operations, because there's no reason that they should be paying that much, and how the server operates, they need to be more transparent with all the players and what's going on, because there's really no need to keep the server operations so hush-hush from us. We're your players. You should keep us in the know of what's going on with the server. According to the Bisec hosting, he could definitely have a lot more players online at one time than the 80. He could have 160 and then have another 100 in a queue, but have the queue hosted locally on 2B, not on the Archon. That's possible, dude. I really don't know why you're not doing that. But for us players, we need to be able to make those smaller donations. You want us to pay? Give us options other than $20. But you also got to reduce those costs. And I also think overall, as players on 2B, we have a responsibility to keep the server alive, provided that House makes some serious changes to the way he operates the server. And that's how I feel. So I want to thank you guys for listening to, I explained all this. I kind of wanted to wait until after, some time had passed. Other people had been raging about they're going to quit. Just all the people. But you gotta remember, a lot of them are the vets. I'm probably the first YouTuber really on here that's not a vet. I wouldn't even say that's really affected by it, but in a way I am, because even though I didn't have a vet queue, they're now jumping into the free queue status unless they pay, and that affects the other accounts that I try to log in that are non-paying accounts. But as you see now, there's like 120 sometimes in the queue. Namely, that's probably all the bots. So time will tell. We'll see how things go. But overall, I want to thank you guys again for sitting through this, listening to my rant, my discussion, if you will, the sober discussion. And leave some comments below. I'd like to hear from them and see what your guys' thoughts are. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye.